Hey everyone, it's Abby and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since we've done a sit-down journaling update, so I thought it'd be nice to catch up with you. And before we begin, if you're new here, hi, I'm Abby. I make videos on journaling and how to document your life and travels. But for this video, we're gonna focus on media journaling. If you're not familiar with media journaling, I will link a couple of videos that I've done in the past about media journaling. It's basically writing about films or TV shows or books or podcasts that you've consumed, but I like to focus more on film because I am a cinephile, if that's the correct term for it. I like watching movies. I also have a letterbox. I like watching video essays on films. So this is my attempt on being my own critic, but I'm not a reliable critic. My advice is always just to watch and form your own opinion on these movies. But I recently watched some Oscar-nominated films, so I thought it'd be nice to actually make a spread for the Academy Award nominated movies. So there's 3 here because the other one is actually not Oscar nominated, so it's Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and my personal favorite, The Holdovers. So before we begin, and I'll show you my setup, I just wanted to quickly share that this March on Patreon, I have, it's not movie themed, but it's travel themed. These are the goodies that you'll receive for my mail club tier on Patreon. So that's the $15 tier. More information can be found on patreon.com/abc, but you'll receive a print of my Japan travel journal, as well as this clear sticker sheet for your upcoming trips. It's travel themed, and also I'll be sharing a thorough guide of how to travel to Japan this March because I know a lot of my Patreon members are going to visit Japan. I thought it'd be nice to throw in a bonus gift. So that's going to be on Patreon. So I hope you check it out. It's one of the ways you can support me as a creator and support this YouTube channel. I have a very minimal setup for media journaling. I try not to focus too much on what stationery I have, but more so how I want to kind of organize the reviews and also write my thoughts about the movies that I watched. So, okay, starting off, I do have a few updates with my stationery stash. So I will be using stickers from Adventure Awaits, which is, oh, I made it. So this is a sticker book that's available in my stockists in the US, UK, and EU, as well as in the Philippines. I'll link everything down below, but this is more like travel journaling stickers. I do have last 2 pages have film frames, so I thought to use them for the journal spread also. Also have this traveler's notebook insert that's actually it's clear inside. It's like a card holder, but what I use it for is actually washi samples, and so far it's been really good because I don't have to take out my entire collection, or if I need to find something very themed, they're kind of organized in a way that's useful and easy to find. I also decided to just cut up my PET tapes, these rolls, and put them here instead because it's easier for me to grab and go and use them for journaling. The film posters I used, I just got them off of Google. I printed this at the drugstore, and it's a 10 by 14 centimeters or 4R size photo, and then I just did a collage and put everything. That way it's not too big, and then it's good size for journaling. I'll show you the division of the template for this particular journal later on. For stamps, I do want to use this I don't know, I like these manicule pointy stamps, so I do use them all the time. And then I also wanted to focus on using this one. This is the All the New Movies stamp set from Everyday Explorers Co. And it's, it's in theme for what we're going to do for media journaling, and it's pocket size and it's a clear stamp. So obviously we do need an acrylic block mine has a Moomin on it because, you can always have cute things. And I'm just gonna use the Cypress Brown ink from 𝚝𝚍𝚍𝚘𝚘. This is the color that I use frequently just because it's easy to, you know, use and stamp, and like it's usually within my color scheme. Couple more stamps over here. I do have like number stamps in case I need, or these alphabet ones. They're both 𝚝𝚍𝚍𝚘 as well. And I also have this date stamp, so I wanted to use it for marking the dates that I watched those movies. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And I also have glue. I got this glue from Japan. It's called Yamato, but actually any glue stick is fine. But I did realize that this is one of the nicer glue stick brands. It's like very, it sticks very well. And lastly, this is my, I would say it's like my commonplace / media journal. It's from Everyday Explorers Co. It's A5, and it is format quarter. So it's segmented into quarters, and I just find it easy to, like, you know, use it as a basis for journaling. So it's segmented like this, and obviously for media journaling seems to be a perfect fit. So I kind of want to do like a full spread. So I've been using this for on and off. I did use some bits for like December daily, and then I also did a couple of like media reviews, like I did The Bear. I realized that I like to log my media without having the pressure of having to log every single thing I consume, only if I have some opinions about it or if I liked it really. I do like this particular spread because it's both my favorites, like the ballads of songbirds and snakes, as well as lessons in chemistry. So I kind of want to figure out how I want to, you know, create the spread, but most likely I'll do something like this. So another way is like all the posters can be here, and then I have some thoughts here. So yeah, I will now turn you over to voiceover Abby, and let's get started with media journaling.
I've been watching movies for like intently for maybe like 5-6 years now, but I just realized that I've never even done like a media journal spread talking about like award-winning movies, because personally I just don't think that's the only basis for a film to be good, and we have our own ways on how to kind of identify what resonates with us with regards to a movie, or like how a story is told through the visual language, which is what movies are all about. But actually growing up, I first got into knowing about, you know, the Academy Awards in general through my mom. We would sit down in front of the TV and we would watch the award-winning, you know, the Academy Awards. We'd sit through some broadcast talking about films and stuff. And I think as I got older, I got naturally curious about these films, because living in the Philippines, sadly, not a lot of films are shown in our cinemas, especially the indie ones, or the ones that are more like foreign, or something that's more like, oh, it's not gonna, you know, have an audience in the Philippines. I do think now there are a bit more cinemas that highlight these kinds of films, but when I was growing up, we didn't have that. So it took a while for me to actually figure out what movies I actually liked. And upon discovery, I realized I do like a lot of slice of life movies, which I'll talk more about later because the holdovers is there. But I just wanted to share that this sticker book that I'm using right now is the sticker book that I designed, and I wanted to use it because it's like, oh, maybe it could resonate with some of the films that I watched. Like Poor Things is actually surprisingly focused on adventure and travel, so I added a globe there. And then at the bottom right, I just wanted to add like a film frame, the last film frame in my sticker book. I need to get my own sticker book. I only have one sticker book actually. I need to get one more when I go back home to visit. But I wanted to also plot in the dates of when I watched these movies. They were more or less the same week or time span, because I watched Oppenheimer on my flight back from New York in end of January, and then I watched holdovers while I was in New York. The recent one was Poor Things, which I got to watch for free, by the way, because I'm a member of York. It's like a cinema group here in Berlin, and I've been watching movies with York for like 2 years now, so I got like enough points, and I calculated, I'm like, oh, I get a free ticket, which was really cool. On the left hand side, since this spread has like 8 sections, I thought of just doing like some intro and like lists on the leftmost part of the journal spread. I'm just sticking like some washi tapes. I really like this classic-y one. It's really good for like very academia style work and academia style theme. So I wanted to kind of hone in on each film's like predominant colors. So for Poor Things it's a bit of blue, and then for Holdovers it's a bit more academia coded, and then for Oppenheimer it's just more like, you know, sciencey and like vintage looking. But on the left hand side, I was just writing and like stamping the label and putting Oscars 2024. It always helps to have like a subject or like a heading, because when you flip through the page you kind of know what it's about, you know, like no context, but just seeing these things, like it's like a headline. So I tried to add it as well. And then I'm starting off with, after putting down all the stickers and tapes, I'm slowly marking the areas where I stamp and add my stamps, because it's practically impossible to stamp after writing unless you have enough space. So I just try to do that, knowing that I write a lot, so I'm trying to just manage my own expectations here. I also use the 𝚝𝚍𝚘𝚘𝚔 ink pad in the color Sand, which is what I'm using here. And I also like this color. It's very neutral, and it also fits the whole colorway I'm trying to go with for this particular spread. So let's talk about the films since we're here. I personally had no expectations for all of these movies, and I also was not on a mission to watch all the films. I do have a lot that I'm still planning to watch, like The Zone of Interest would probably, and American Fiction and Perfect Days. I tried to make a list on the left hand side, so I kind of know which ones I watched and want to watch. I watched Barbie and Past Lives in 2023, both great. Elemental as well was really cute. I personally just didn't like Maestro. It's just not my it's not my cup of tea. I prefer Whiplash, so I feel like those are two different types of movies. I'm using the Hobonichi Tools and Toys ruler. I used it to put my reviews ever since when I did my initial media journal in my Hobonichi A6 notebook back in the day, but still is handy for this reason. Going to Poor Things, I did not expect this movie at all. It was chaotic, it was funny, but it's just not for me. I know a lot of people like it. I think the story is great. It was just too much for me. I was so mentally tired after watching, because in comparison to Poor Things, The Holdovers feels like my kind of movie. It's very it's very underdog. It's very quiet and nothing much happens in the movie, but I like how the vibe is. I hate saying that word, but like just something about like it just feels like a nice warm hug. I also realized that my kind of films are mostly like very coming of age, slice of life, and also set in an older time. Like this is the 1970s in New England. And also I prefer movies that are set in an academia setting. I feel like it's just something that thoroughly just resonates with the type of films and content and media that I like consuming. Well, speaking of academia, I do think that Oppenheimer has a bit of academia, because Oppenheimer was an instructor in Berkeley, so there were some scenes where he was also like teaching in school, which I actually also enjoyed. I will say though, I was pretty shocked at how intensely long this movie was. I was watching it on my flight back from New York to Berlin, and I was like, okay, I could use some 3 hours, and it was long. It was very conversation heavy. I do like the score. I think that's the best part of Oppenheimer, and I get it now why like Cillian Murphy has like all these nominations, and Nolan, of course. My last Nolan film was Interstellar, so he is really great. But yeah, I really like it. But honestly, you can tell by the reviews, my personal favorite was The Holdovers, only because it was kind of what I needed, and I feel like this is the kind of movie that I'd rewatch anytime. But yeah, going back to Oppenheimer, I wish I could watch this in a bigger screen. As you can see, I stamped better on the big screen because watching this on a flight is not ideal. It felt like I was experiencing turbulence through the sound, and I was also experiencing some turbulence while in the plane. So I feel like it was very like mimicking real life. But yeah, here are the finished spreads, and I'd love to know what Oscar-nominated films you've watched or like films you've watched recently. I'd love to do more media journal videos in the future as well. Thank you so much for watching, and more info will be found on the link below. Hope to see you on my next video, and don't forget to subscribe. Always be creating. Bye!